This is how I used ChatGPT to write a Google Sheets script that migrates data from one sheet to another. And I had no idea about Google Sheets script and I never used it before. Let's assume you have this sheet here with your contacts and it has a particular header. And then you have data that you want to import that looks completely different. You would reorder these columns to match the target file. This becomes very tedious. So what I did is I used ChatGPT to write a little script and add it here to a new menu item, and then it's called import from sheets. It will create a new pane here to the right, and it asks me what is the source sheet and what is the destination sheet. Take it from demo import, and the destination sheet is demo CRM. It maps the columns from the import to the actual CRM that were taken from here. The columns were matched to the target. So we see that first name, last name, company, and so on. All the other data is here, so I can get going right away. And I did this completely with ChatGPT. So basically what I did is I went to extensions AppScript. So AppScript is a language that lets you write code that automatically manipulates the spreadsheets. You can write a function in JavaScript that manipulates the data. Because I've never written AppScript before, I used an extension called Monica. So this is basically ChatGPT inside of your browser, okay? Everyone knows of coding environments like Cursor and so on. What I did here is a bit unorthodox because I just took this extension and used it, let's say, to generate the code. It is a bit more primitive, but you will see how efficient this is. So now I prompted your role. So I instructed the system that it's a programmer that's proficient in AppScript, knows all the APIs and knows all the documentation. And then I explained the problem that I'm solving is that I'm trying to import leads from one sheet to the other. Now we see that it's generating the code. And what we can do now is we can just copy paste everything here. Now this is the difference between Cursor and this unorthodox method that I'm using here. But hey, it's okay for this little example. And remember, you can use this for any other type of extension that you need. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change these columns to match the real ones. Here I changed them. For somebody who has never touched AppScript, this is a great help. Let's save this and let's run it. Let's see what happens. So we select the main function, my function here, click run. Now if I go back here, it asks me the name of the source sheet. So the source sheet is called import CSV, okay, and the destination sheet is called CRM. We see it down here. Okay, it did it, but actually replaced the whole sheet. This is not what we wanted. So we have to go back now and say, don't replace. I said it should append the data from the import sheet to the destination sheet. Okay, so here it will give me the example again. Basically, this thing we have to keep because this is the mapping. And then we just take the rest of the code and replace it over here. Run it again, see what happens. So we come back here, the name of the source sheet, import CSV, and then the destination sheet is called CRM. Okay, let's see what happens now. Here it is, very nice. So we can see that it also copied the header row, which we don't want, and it actually hasn't taken the mapping of the initial sheet. Let's fix that. So what I did, I told it that what it does now is to just copy paste the data from the import sheet into the destination sheet, and that's not what I want, but I want it to map from the source headers to the destination ones, okay? Now let's see what it does. Okay, it said it fixed it. Let's copy this again. And then we click run. We come back here. We say, okay, import CSV. And then the output is called CRM. Now let's see what it does. It should basically have mapped the values in the right way. No, it hasn't. The problem it has is that it should create an array of the length of the target headers and then basically populate that one. So now I told it that it has to keep spaces in the destination array so that it matches basically these spaces between the columns. Okay, nice. The code's generated. Let's copy it. Okay, copied, saved, run. Let's try again. Import CSV. Here it did it. Okay, let's see. So the names look good. Company title, phone number. Yeah, looks good. Pretty nice. Okay, so what we want now is instead of writing the names of the sheets, we want to select them from a drop-down. And this is where this nice little pane on the side comes in. So now I said that I want to select the source and destination based on drop-downs and that it should create this little pane on the right-hand side where I can select them. So now it understands, okay, it has to create a HTML site. We have to create a new file. So we say, okay, HTML. So let's see, how is this called, just for reference? Sidebar HTML. And here we will copy this code. Very nice. Here, copy. And we will replace this code over here. In addition to that, we have to add some more functions here. for example, on open. So it realized that it has to create a menu. So we will copy the first three functions here to the beginning. Okay, and then we will have the main function that is renamed into process sheets. So this is what we will call this now, process sheets. Okay, looks good. Now let's save these two files and let's come here, let's refresh it. And now we can see that this new item has appeared here, right? Where I can basically open the sidebar. It's called costume menu. And now this nice little sidebar here appears. So now it says, okay, source sheet will be import CSV. Let's quickly delete everything that's been inside here. Destination CRM, submit. Here I have to tell it should replace this workflow. I forgot to change the code of the main function, right? So it still shows me this this box. So here was the part that I have to copy paste after the mapping. Open sidebar. Okay, sidebar opens. Source sheet, import CSV. Okay, let's see if it works now. Right, there's a little error I found here. I think I typed in HTML twice. So maybe it doesn't find this. Let's try refresh. We click submit. Apparently nothing happens. Let's try again. Right, the problem is that the process sheets takes two parameters, source sheet name, and the other is called destination sheet name. Now let's see if it was fixed. Okay, the sidebar is opened. Okay, it's not there. Let's see why. Yeah, the error was somewhere around here. So what I did is I copied the old block again. I went up, I copied the old code again, and then I just changed this part where it basically reads the source and destination sheet names. We open the sidebar again, and then again we choose the source and destination, and then the data copied map successfully. Okay, and then we see it here, all very nice. So basically the whole idea here is that you can actually do this whole thing with ChatGPT, right? But obviously you have to understand a bit of code, okay? Now here and there, obviously there are some errors, you have to reiterate. Obviously you can chat with ChatGPT all the time and tell it where the errors are and so on to go full stream vibe coding, okay? But this shows how easy it is, even for a beginner, okay, to create these plugins for sheets, okay? And basically you can do this with everything. You can even connect this to external APIs and so on. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for the next one. Cheers.